Yes. It's steel.
But you can't be any geek off the street. Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean.
Keep it real.
Keeping it real.
Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Steven and this is Steel Keeping It Real. So you know what today is.
But you love me for my twang.
That's right, it is Twangin' Tuesday. And on this day I like to feature country music, past, present, or future on the channel. Now I just did Morgan Wallen's Last Drive Down Main, and so I wanted to pick another song that I hadn't heard. And I was like, okay, so it's Twangin' Tuesday, I'm doing country. What is more country than going on the website called Holler and choosing a song that is called When Country Came Back to Town by Brent Cobb. And Brent was born 1986. I was a senior in high school in 1986, around August, so school starts in late August, early September, depending on where you are. I know here in Ohio, I believe Ohio State just started school this week, and I believe certain high schools are and elementary schools are as well. So I would have been a senior in high school around when he was born, and that just made me feel really, really old. Now, this guy is on his fourth studio album. Maybe this might be the fifth. This song just came out like 4 days ago, so there is no balamo for me to do to show you where this song is charted, because it hasn't charted yet, but there is a video. And if you look at when I went on Holler, like, I could show you that. This was the number 9 song. Now, I went through a whole bunch of other songs, and they were blocked to me. And so, when it came up this one, I was like, okay, it's a country song on the country charts, and it's not Dolly Parton with Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney singing Let It Be. I have nothing against Dolly Parton singing the song, but Let It Be is not a country song. It just isn't. And the song came out, in the 60s, I believe. So she's doing a cover. And there's nothing wrong with doing covers. Who hasn't covered Dolly Parton songs? But it just doesn't feel, apropos for, Twangin' Tuesday, although Dolly does have twang in her voice. So that is what I am going to do. Now, it does say that Cobb recorded his debut album in 2006 with his cousin while in Los Angeles. However, after some time period, he decided to return to Georgia. Now, country star and acquaintance Luke Bryan suggested Cobb move to Nashville, which in turn he eventually did in 2008. Initially, Cobb worked as a photo developer at Walgreens, but eventually managed to negotiate a songwriting contract. So after obtaining his songwriting contract, Cobb went on to write a variety of songs for many prominent stars, such as Luke Bryan's Tailgate Blues, never heard of it, David Nail and Frankie Ballard's Grandpa's Farm, never heard it, Kelly Pickler, I have heard of, but the song is called Rockaway, never heard of it. Kenny Chesney, I have heard of, but the song is called Doing It. Never heard of it. Miranda Lambert's Old Shit, I guess is the name of the song. Heard of Miranda Lambert, never heard the song. And it says as well as numerous other performers. So that's pretty good. And I'd like to see that artist has some songwriting credits to their name. There are plenty of artists out there, whether it be country, hip-hop, R&B, things of that nature, that can't write a song. And, they get somebody handing them a song, and they'll do it, and they'll do it well, but, they don't know how to write a song. Kind of like, I mentioned this in the comments, try this in a small town by Jason Aldean. He didn't write the song. Somebody gave him the song. He did it. So it is what it is. If people are getting mad at him about certain things, it's like he didn't write the song. He performed it, but he didn't write it. So it is what it is. So if you like videos like this and others on my channel, please don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification button, because I'm doing at least 10 videos each and every week, and I have to play a little catch up because I didn't do any videos yesterday. Now, the last thing that I wanted to read off of here, it says, Cobb's musical style has been described as blue-collar country with bluegrass-leaning inclinations. Some have noted that his sound is closer to Americana than contemporary country music. A Nashville score reviewer described Cobb's voice as soft and sweet with surefoot hints of soul. I want to hear that. His voice has been compared to Willie Nelson, Al Green, and Merle Haggard. And it does say Dave Cobb, who produced Shine on a Rainy Day album, described the album as pure rural country soul-filled music. So I'm kind of, anticipating, wanting to hear how this guy's voice sounds. Does it have the soul from a white perspective or soul from a black perspective? There are different levels of soul. You have to admit, there is soul music that falls under R&B. It's soul music. So we will see. So without any further ado, here is Brent Cobb, and When Country Came Back to Town.
Are you jacking with me?
Oh, no, sir.
Don't jack with me.
Yes, sir.
You in the service?
No, sir, I'm a veteran.
Now?
Yes, sir, 2 tours.
What outfit?
12th Infantry Battalion, August 7th, 1966, July 2nd, 1968.
Wilson,
Yes, sir.
get someone to help this man. He needs to get into town.
Y'all gather around now. I got a story I want to tell you. I was there when Shooter Jenny rewound the sound like a cassette. I watched Jamie Johnson cut You Can't Cash My Checks. Back then, Ratty Jason Cope was running Shine Sunset to Vine, picking songs with Leroy Powell, making redneckisms rhyme. I guess now everyone knows Cousin Dave, that he's been around a while, proving simple truths in music. They just don't go out of style. It's hard to tell that when you're in it, sometimes a moment's too profound. But if I had to bet my money, that's when country came back to town. Right after that, I moved to Nashville. Most of the Broadway stars wanted to be Cody Cannon, Ryan Bingham, or Hayes Carr. They seemed too cautious to commit, so they surrendered to the game. But nobody sang like Brandy Carlisle or wrote like Nicky Lane. But you couldn't deny that it was lost, or how it would be found. But when Sturgill climbed high top mountain, country came back to town. Beyond the pickups and the back roads, you could almost hear it play, though it was softer than a whisper through the pines. Some say it never lived, some say that it got saved, some say like everything it changes over time. Well, all I know for certain is I'm glad I was around when country came back to town. Oh, when country came back to town. As a divide grew even greater between commerce and art, folks like Miranda Lambert kept the beat inside its heart. Right along with Chris and Morgan, the Casey Musgraves too. What took the world so long to catch her? For us was nothing new. Out of time, the torch was passed, and the hatchet was laid down. Music Row had nearly burned to ash when country came back to town. Beyond the pickups and the back roads, you could almost hear it play. It was softer than a whisper through the pines. Some say it never left, some say that it got saved. Some say like everything, it changes over time. Well, all I know for certain is I'm glad I was around when country came back to town. Oh, when country came back to town. Now here we are 18 years later, with a list a mile long, with names like Childers, Jinx, Price, and Whitey, Hood, Shook, Cook, Cawthon, and Combs. Lord knows it's hard to name them all. Hell, right off the top of my head is Bell, Edith, Patton, Moon Pie, Turnpike, Coulter, and Crockett. Now I won't be stopping, no name dropping, till history books echo the sound of all the folks who settled up and drove country back to town. Oh, back to town.
Okay, so I actually like that song, and you want to know why? It had a feeling of something that should have come out in the 70s. He had a cross between Bob Dylan, when he would sing, not the nasally Bob Dylan, no, like the lay type of Bob Dylan, mixed with a little bit of James Taylor, but a little bit of a twang. I could clearly hear it. He had the look of a Travis Tritt, but Travis Tritt would never wear a trucker hat or a baseball hat or whatever kind of hat that is. He would never wear it. I'm not saying, it's a bad hat. I'm just saying Travis Tritt would never wear it. But Travis Tritt was one of those few ones that was almost considered rock and roll in his style, yet he sang country. I mean, Travis Tritt did a song with the Eagles. He was kind of like the one that brought the Eagles back together after they broke up. So you got to give Travis Tritt. And that's the one thing I liked about this song. This song paid homage to a lot of country people, that probably one of the ones that were that he was influenced by, as well as some of the ones that he's actually worked on. I mentioned Miranda Lambert and Luke Bryan and some other people that he happened to mention in the song. Now, I recognize a lot more of the pictures in the book than maybe some of the names he was dropping, but again, it reminds me of, there are certain hip-hop songs, like the song called Hip Hop by LL Cool J, that kind of runs down some of the people that paved the way for hip-hop. And this being the 50th year of hip-hop, it's a big deal. Some people were trying to, write it off and marginalize hip-hop in the very beginning, but the fact that it has staying power and it has been one of the most influential genres over the past 50 years says something. But let's get back to country. So he was mentioning certain country stars, paying homage to them, knowing good and well that you can't be a singer, songwriter, any one of those things, and not give certain credit where credit is due for the people you listened to growing up. And, all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I heard that song by Waylon Jennings, and now I want to write this song maybe in this kind of vein, but that's what I want to do. And that's why I said it had an old style country, like 70s going into 80s, almost like that Pure Prairie League or maybe something else, because you could hear the organ and you could hear a little bit of harmonica, and I couldn't tell if that was a normal slide guitar or just somebody shredding it on the guitar, or even both. But I could hear that in the low register, down, that kind of definite country, down, that kind of low range pick, plucking on the guitar. And, I dug his voice. It is a very soothing type of voice, and you could get lulled into it. And that's why I compare it to somebody like a James Taylor in that particular vein. So you know what? I kind of like this guy, but I kind of feel that he probably is going to be bigger as a songwriter than as a singer, only because of the fact that I don't hear this as the kind of song where people are blaring it in their cars, especially younger people. And if you notice, he's telling this story to a younger generation, letting them understand, hey, there is a whole bunch of stuff that came before. There are these different types of phases when people said, like, country was through. There's so many different, like I said, there is country before the 70s. You have the Conway Twitties, and you had the Hank Williams Jr.'s and things like that, Charlie Price and Charlie Riches and things like that were way before. You're getting into even the 80s, and then the 80s had their own explosion, and then you had the big giant explosion of the new country of the 90s, and then there's always some type of new incarnation or reimagination of country. But then you get there, and then there's a throwback to the country of the past, because you still have your parents, your grandparents, and maybe sometimes your great-grandparents who listen to country, and they come across this guy and they go like, you know what, I like that Brent Cobb. He's got a great voice, and you know what, he mentioned my man. So, it is what it is. So, if you are still here, I thank you very much for staying tuned. I really do appreciate it. First and foremost, I want you guys to like the videos as much as I like making them for you. After that, all you need to do to help me out with the channel is to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Peace.